So now I'm going to talk about a few examples of psychology. Psychology is a much more important aspect to the game than you might think at first. The main thing is it causes you to do things that are very unusual, either play way below your level or with the right attitude to find defensive resources that you never thought you could manage. So I'll give you a couple of painful moments and moments that went well for me. This game was against Gatakamsky. This was the 7th game in our match. I was leading by 1 point. All I needed to do was to defend this game. But my psychology was off. I'd lost the 6th game because I had a 2-point lead. And already I had this unpleasant feeling that I had spoiled everything. And we had a difficult game where he's trying his best to keep some life in the position. And I'm still holding the position objectively speaking, but I've started to make some mistakes. So I came here. He brought his king up, which means he's ready to fight as long as it takes. Check. So I captured. He captured. Now this is a good moment for me to stop and think. But sometimes you have to stop and think not only that you see everything, but that you are calm. And I didn't manage this. I felt I should move my rook forward and being able to attack his king from this side over here. So I decided to just make a move. And I think I made it quite fast. And it turns out to be a blunder. If I felt I was not thinking clearly, it was important to take a deep breath, try to calm down, and then see what's happening. There are a couple of nice resources in the position. First, I can do that. There's a nice trap. If he goes here, I go knight g6. He comes here, and I simply take it. If he captures, then it's king in the... Black has the wrong colored bishop. Of course, he can give check and the game goes on, but I still have, if I keep repeating like this, it's very hard for him to escape. Another good way was rook here. What's the difference? Well, we'll see. He went e4 and actually the position is already lost. I did this, he checked. My problem is only here I realized that my rook cannot come to this valuable square to stop this pawn because the bishop is controlling it. So we can see here that the bishop is controlling that square. That's why rook g7 would also have been a good move. And so very painful defeat. I lost this game, we tied the match, and then I lost the tie break. And I lost that in the quarters. And I had to try in the next cycle. But hopefully I learned something, and later on in my second match with him, I defended much better. Okay. This game is against Vasilin Topalov. It is game 12 of our World Championship match in Sofia. Again, he's obviously a fantastic player, has played many spectacular games, but he sometimes has a tendency to overreach. And this time it was caused by an unhealthy thought. He felt that the tie breaks wouldn't favor him. We were tied at this point 5.5 each. He felt the tie breaks would not favor him. And so I think deep down he had come ready for a struggle. And I switched from my aggressive opening to a very solid opening. The Queen's Gambit declined. And I was happy because the sharp struggles had not been very favorable and I wanted to change. So now we had Topalov in the situation where he has come for a sharp tactical battle and suddenly he's faced with the Queen's Gambit, which is a much quieter opening. And he couldn't adjust. On the one hand, he went forward. But he felt that he should unbalance it somewhere. And he was in, as we say, in two minds. So what happened here? We got this position. And this weakness doesn't mean very much because my pieces are very active. If you see, I've got rooks on the open file, the bishop ready to come deep in white's position. Here, I went back and he could have repeated and taken a draw, or he could have made a quiet move like b3. Nothing much is happening. But he suddenly rotated his knight here. It's not a good sign because actually the knight is misplaced here. It was better placed here, but still. And this was a good moment to come back and accept that he had made a mistake. But he went e4, I went f5. Still, he could have gone here and protected the pawn battery. It's slightly weaker because I will exchange. And now this pawn is slightly weak, but I think it's defensible. But he went ef5, e4. And even here, his next move will appear almost catastrophic, but let's see what happened. He took, he went here. Why did he do such a reckless decision? I have a bishop over here, a queen over here, so big battery like this, and I'm going to show you how else I'm going to attack. But for one moment, because he was thinking of the score and not the position, he was not objective. And so what happened? Now, I went for my attack, rook d4, so I'm threatening to give a check here, and I'm forking the knight, so the knight has to come back. I went queen e8. I don't know exactly which was the move he missed, and this often happens when you're not thinking clearly. You see a long variation, you see brilliant stuff. Quite often my calculations have been brilliant, but there's a flaw somewhere there. g4, I played h5, and here he realized that my attack is breaking through no matter what. If I go forward, he comes and the queen is coming here. And otherwise, the piece is opening. He went king h4. And all I had to do is to find this very nice move, g5 check. And his position is getting smashed. What's the problem? If I take, takes. Now I'm threatening to give checkmate. But what else is happening is that this rook is now ready to come here. So after h g4, the rook will also come. I have two rooks pointing at his king. In fact, and I didn't make his mistake. The position is won and there probably wins, but I couldn't see anything clear. So I decided that it was important to take my time. And here, I believe I thought for quite a long time before I saw the key idea. And king h7. This is important. The mistake I avoided was this one. I mean, it's not a huge achievement, but suddenly this move, I have to take. Now he gives a check and it's messed up. The problem is if I go here, he comes here and temporarily I cannot give him checkmate and he's going to start giving checks. So that would have been a disaster. And here I could calculate this out to a win. After king h7, I'm threatening to give rook h4 check. It's too late. Whatever he does, he loses. And very soon afterwards, all I had to do is to be very patient. So here I started to play with Zugzwang, not moving my queen at all, and I won a nice game. And the world championship, by the way, for that year.